Let's go ahead and break down what it takes to install the software-defined network controller on a Linux container, because TP-Link has a guide on how to do that, and it's not right. At least it's not right on my machine. I couldn't get it to work using those instructions. So surfing the interwebs, I found a couple of other solutions that worked for other people, and I Frankensteined it together, and this is how I got it to work. Recently, I did a video installing a UniFi cloud controller on a Linux container on my Proxmox server, and that worked just fine. But when adopting that guy right there, the USG, or the security gateway, it failed multiple times. I spent probably a good 2 hours troubleshooting and working on it, trying to get it to adopt to the controller, and it couldn't. So I gave up on it for now. So I started going down the rabbit hole of what's an equivalent to the UniFi or Ubiquiti prosumer line of networking gear. And there's a handful that came up, like the Arubas, Meraki. Then I ran across TP-Link. And when I think TP-Link, I think Netgear, I think Walmart, I think, off the shelf, big box store, cheap equipment. Comparing Ubiquiti to TP-Link, you definitely see quite a bit of savings there. So TP-Link has their Omada series of hardware devices that work with the Omada SDN, or software-defined network controller, basically. It's kind of cool. Like, they have their own little hardware devices that's all encompassing in the controller. The controller lives on, all you gotta do is plug that into your network and you're able to access all the things. Some limitations there, like they've got 2 models so far. One can handle, I think, 100 devices or 150 devices, something like that. The other one can do like 500 devices. But if you do a standalone controller, kind of like the UniFi controller did, the SDN can handle like 1,500 devices. Now, when I say devices, I don't mean clients like users. I mean like switches and access points and routers, things like that, which I will never hit 100 of those devices in my home network. I just want to be able to manage everything from one place, a single pane of glass, as consolidated as I can be. I mean, traditionally I'd have like an old Cisco switch over here and a Netgear hub over there and a UniFi access point up there and then an old WRTG router over there or something like that, where it's like all these different devices are kind of Frankenstein and piecemealed together to make up my home network. And I want to get away from that. I want to be able to control everything the way I would like to control it, as if it were an enterprise. So that's what kind of led me down TP-Link. They have an enterprise grade solution, so they say. I haven't used it yet, but it can live on its own standalone device or a VM. So that's what I did. I downloaded the Omada SDN and I bought a bunch of TP-Link gear. Let's talk about the controller. This is the controller here. You can set this up on a multi-tenant environment or multi-site environment, kind of like UniFi does. In fact, looking at this, it feels very Ubiquiti-ish, which is good because UniFi makes a good product. I mean, the cloud controller works great, and when the products work in the UniFi ecosystem, they work very well. Having trouble making them work and talk to each other the right way, and then keeping them in that communication. In my experience, to each their own. Here we are in Frosty. You can see that this is my Omada container. First off, SDN is not compatible with Ubuntu 22.04, as I understand it, or 22.10 or 23.04. It is compatible with Ubuntu 20.04, whether it's on the desktop, Ubuntu desktop, or like a container. And I think the reason behind that is because MongoDB doesn't have a confirmed version that works or is compatible or supported with Ubuntu 22. Or at least not the edition that Omada needs. Anyway, I'm rambling. Here I have Ubuntu 22 and Ubuntu 20 set up as templates. So what I'm going to do here is hit clone. We're going to make this, 107 Omada temp, because eventually I'm just going to get rid of it. We'll do a full clone. So essentially I clone the container. And the reason for that, like I said, Ubuntu's already installed, updated, and upgraded to the most recent point. So it's already ready already. I love template containers. So we're gonna hit start and we'll jump into the console. So of course our default login is root and then our super secret password, and we're in. The specifics on the Ubuntu VM that work for me are 1 CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, and 8 gigs of hard drive space on Ubuntu 2004. And you'll notice this here on the running version that it is using 1 gig just at idle, just sitting there not doing anything. App uses 1 gig of RAM. So keep that in mind. Good thing is on a VM like this, you can always increase RAM and compute later on if you adopt a whole bunch of things and your network's pushing traffic back and forth and your controller needs a little more horsepower, you can always spin it up. You probably won't need to though, realistically. I will leave this list, it's like 6 lines, down in the description below. Again, this is what's worked for me, so hopefully it should work for you as well. So coming into the console, we're already up to date on update and upgrades. But if you're not, you can just go ahead and run those 2 commands. No, yeah, 0 updated, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove. Paste this command. This installs MongoDB, so your database, your JavaScript, Java version 8. It's a specific version that works. And there was something else. I don't know. But this is going to take a little while. It'll go through and install all the things that need to be installed for the application to work, all of its dependencies, the required packages. And it's done. Next on our little checklist here, we have to configure Java runtime to run on version 8. Just make this easier. We'll do a clear, paste this command, and what we're looking for is Java 8. So our selection is going to be number 2. We just type number 2 here. Goes ahead and installs that, puts it into that version. As of the time of recording, the most recent version or the most up-to-date version of Omada SDN is 5.9.31. This is the command. I just hit go. Anyway, that's the command that's going to install or download this version. Now to install it, we run this command. Do you want to install the software package? Yes. Not going to take as long, but it is going to go through and install it.
Later.
You'll get to this point where it says starting the Omada controller, please wait. This is going to take a while, like probably another 5 to 10 minutes, or at least it did for me when installing. We have this all done now. So you can see right here it says you can visit your local host port 8080 to manage the wireless network. And what did we make this? We made this a 107. So we could go to 10.0.0.107 8888. Of course, you'll get this the first time that you sign in. Just tell them it's safe. Go ahead and proceed. And there you go. Now we can go through the setup process of configuring the controller the way that you want it to be. Pretty simple. You go through and you'll put administrator name, the administrator's email address, passwords. I leave cloud access turned off because I don't feel like I need to access this outside of my network, but you can. There is a Omada app that you can use that we'll be setting up in a future video to manage and maintain everything kind of on the fly. And so you shouldn't need cloud access enabled at that point. I could be wrong. You may need cloud access enabled to use the application. I'm not sure, but we'll get to that point. You'll put your information in here. You need to agree to the T's and C's. You can create a new controller, restore from backup file. Go through all of this stuff to set it up the way that you want. I'm not going to do that because I've already done that here, and this was just for the video. Let me show you one important thing before we jump off of this, because going much further from here is not in the realm of this video. We're going to get deeper into the ecosystem and TP-Link and kind of do side-by-sides and stuff in future videos. So this might be a good time to say, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already to see more future videos like this. One quick thing, you'll go down to settings, you'll go down to controller settings, and this right here. dark setting because it comes on light mode by default. So you'll want to hit dark mode and then scroll down and hit save, and you'll save your eyes years of strain just by doing that. Thank me later. If you made it this far in the video and you learned something today, hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps the channel. Like I said before, if this is the kind of video and the kind of stuff that you like to see, consider subscribing. And of course, thanks for watching.